Ma'am, maybe now begin with the session, ma'am.
Yes, you can begin.
Yes, ma'am. I've started the recording, ma'am, so we can begin.
Yes. Shall I start?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. A very good afternoon to one and all. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Saurabh Kokatnur sir for giving me this opportunity to interact this session, the chapter of Ashtangrodaya, Doshabhedeeya. However, I'll try to stick on to the timing in between 12 to 1 p.m. If any questions are there, I'll let the participants know at the end of the session. So I'm going to begin with the chapter Doshabhedeeya of Ashtangrodaya, 12th chapter. Before beginning with the chapter, why this chapter came into the consideration of Ashtangrodaya after 11th chapter. As you know that in the 11th chapter, Acharya Bhagbata, he has given more insightful towards the content of the different doshas, dhatus and the mala. So after the thorough discussion about all these things, next Acharya wanted to give a different types with relevant to the doshas and also the different types of the diseases which are going to manifest by the involvement of the doshas and other consideration with respect to vyadi. That's how the chapter. Before we begin into the chapter, let's
Ma'am, we are not able to hear you, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, we are
am I
not able.
audible? Are you able to hear me?
Now I am able to hear you, ma'am.
Yes. I'll put my mobile in DNB mode. Wait.
Okay.
I was getting a call. 1 minute. I'll get back. Now you can hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Sorry for the interruptions. So once we learn about the sthana of Vagbata, he has given the knowledge with related to the Veda of Vata, Veda of the Pitta, Veda of the Kapha. Then he has given some content related to the Chaya Prakopa and Prashama Avastha of the Vyadi, along with the variation of this Chaya Prakopa Avastha of the Doshas in the Rutu Anusara. And after that, Acharya Vagbata, he has given an importance towards to the different Roga Margas, and later he gives the karanas for the utpatti of the vyadi, and later he gives some of the content related to the how the disease has to be treated on the basis of swatantra vyadi and paratantra vyadi, and the key knowledge of the vaidya in understanding the concept of the vyadi, in what all modalities the vyadi has to be understood, then how it has to be treated. These are the some of the content related to the chapter of Dosha Bediya. Let's begin with the first initiation step. So in Vatasthana, what Acharya Bhagbata he tells here is Pakvashaya Katisaktihi Shrotastihi Sparshanendriyam Sthanam Vatasya Tatrapi Pakvadanam Visheshatah. Just like we know that anything when we consider the sthana, in all the consideration, there will be some special sthana, there will be some samanya sthanas. So with respect to Vata sthana also, Pakvasha is considered as the special sthana of the Vata, whereas other sthanas, like when we consider the, along with the Pakvashaya, Kati, Sakti, Shrotasti, Sparshanendriya, these all are the other sthanas of the Vata. Main site of the Vata is Pakvasha, where there is a abundant content of the Vata which is going to be present in the Pakvasha. It doesn't mean that it is not being present in other sthanas. It is also taking a role to be present in the other sthanas also, but especially it has its own role of characteristics in the Pakvashaya. Next, begin with the Pittashaya, that is Pittasthana. It is, main site is Navir, Naviramashaya Svedoho Lasika Rudiram Rasaha, Driksparshanam cha Pittasya Naviratraha Visheshatah. So among these sthana of pitta, Nabi is considered as the Visheshataha. Why it is Visheshataha? It has its own gunas with pertaining to the Nabi. That's why it is considered as the Vishesha Sthanaha. Along with this Nabi, Sweda, Lasika, Rudira, Rasa, Druk and Sparshana is considered as the other sthanas of the Pittaha. What in the Ayurveda Rasayana as well as the commentary related to Sarvaga Sundara, what it is? Pittasya Navradinoho Sthanani. So Ravi is considered as the special sthana of the Pittaha. Whereas Lasikaha Jalasadrishihi Druk Chakshuhu Sparshanam Tvakaha Nanoho Sparshenindriyam Vayu Sthanam Uddishtam. These are the other sthanas what it is being described in the Sarvanga Sundara. With respect to the Ayurveda Rasayana, what they tell? Pittasyaha Nabiritihi Amashayoho Nabir Urdhva Pakvashya Sthanam. Nabir Urdhva Pakvashya Sthanam means above the what we call it, the Pakvashya, in between the Amasha and Pakvashya, what the Nabi is going to be resided, that is considered as the main sthana of the Pittaha. Then later what Ayurveda Rasayana tells? Lasikaha Syadrasa Maloho Jala Prapistyaha Ashrayaha. So these are the again sthanas which are being commented by in the Ayurveda Rasayana. Druk Chakshu. When we consider the Druk as again the other sthana of the Pitta, it is Chakshu which is having the resident of the Pitta sthana also. Next, moving to the Kapha sthana. What are the other sthanas of the Kapha and the Vishesha sthana of Kapha is Uraha Kantaha Shiraha Kloma Parvanya Amashayo Rasaha Medoho Granam Cha Jivva Cha Kafasyaha Sutaramuraha. So the special sthana of Kapha is always considered with respect to the Visheshataha. It is Uraha Pradesha along with this Kanta, Shira, Kloma and Kloma, Parvanya, Amashaya. These are the other sthanas of the Kapha which is being highlighted over with respect to the Kapha. Next, what it tells here is the next content of the next further forward moving. When we understood the sthana, next look into the what are the different types which are being residing in these sthanas, what is being explained in the Vata sthana, Pitta sthana and the Kapha sthana also. Let's begin first with the Panchatmaka Vataha, which all are those types and their sthanas. We'll look forward into that. Pranadihi, Vedatmaha, Panchatmaha, Vayuhu. Prana and Adihi. Adi means here it is Prana along with the other types. They are considered as the different types of the Vata here. So the first one is Pranaha. Prano Atra Murdagaha, Uraha Kantascharoho, Buddhi Rudayendriyaha Chittadruk. Stevanak Shavatu Udgaranihi Shwasamyaha Praveshaput. These are some of the characteristics or else the sthana or else the lakshanas where there is an involvement of Vata with respect to the Pranaha. We always know that Vayu is always considered as the Prana Vayuhu, which is going to control all our physiological functioning of the whole body, which is maintaining our systematic functioning activity. That's why it is called as the Pranaha. Pranaho Atra Murdagaha. Atra Murdagaha means where it is being cited, it is mainly staying in the places of the Murdagaha. Murdagaha means we have to consider it as Shira Pradeshaha. And where all it is again is residing, where all it is moving its activities, it is Uraha Kantacharoho. Where it moves in the Ura Pradesha, it moves Kantacharo. Charo means it is going to have a movement. It is going to reside and get movement into the Kanta Pradesha, Ura Pradesha, and does the activity related to Buddhi, Rudaya, Indriya, Chittadruk, which is going to help in doing the activities or the functioning activities of the Rudaya, Buddhi and Indriya. Any type of the functioning activities which are happening with respect to our sensory perception, it is because of the involvement of the Pranavayu which is being present in our body. And Chittadruk. Chittadruk means when any person is involved in any one of the activity or any type of the chesta he is want to do, it is only when there is a Pranavayu being present in the body which helps in doing the Chittadruk. Stevanak Shavatu Udgaranihi Shwasannaha Praveshakut. having the functioning activity of a Stivana, Shavatu, Udgara, Nishvasa. That is, Uchvasa and Nishvasa is also being controlled by the Pranavayuhu. Anna Praveshakut. For the, whenever we are going to have this Anna, the Pravesha Dwara, what we call it as GIT tract, which has to enter into our Amashaya, it is only because of the Pranavayu, which helps in the momentary action of that Anna to get from one side to the another side, which is the main functioning activity of the prana here. Next it is Udanavata, which is going to be having its sthana in the Urasthanamaha Udanasya. The shloka itself tells here is Urasthana Udanasya. What is the sthana of Udana is Urasthanaha, which is being taking its place in the Urahasthanaha. Being sited in that place, what are its functioning activity which is going to be done here is, it is Nasa Nabir Galam Charet. Vak Pravurti Prayatno Urja Bala Varnaspruti Kriyaha. I'm not going to give a much highlight on these things because these all things are also going to be learnt in the Sharira Kriya when you are learning in the conceptual understanding of the Vata Pitta Kapha and also different types also in that case. Right? And what are its other functioning activity? Nasa, Nabi, Galam Charet. So it is going to have its involvement, or it, after being taking place in the Urasthana, it moves towards to the places in the Nasa, Nabi, Gala, Charet. Charet means which moves into all these places. Vak Pravurti, moving in all these places, what are its functioning activities it does? It does the Vak Pravurti, which makes the initiation of having the speech, which makes the effort of speaking. That is one thing. Second one, Prayatna. Prayatna means doing any chesta, doing any activity, doing any karma. It is being initiated by the involvement of the Udanavata. Next, Urja is any type of the energy or the boosting character we are going to get. It is because of the involvement of the Udanaha. Next, we are going to have the Bala, Varna, Sprutikriya. These all are being done with the Udanavata. Next, Vyanavata. Vyano Rudistitaha. Rudistita means it is taking its own site in the Hridaya Pradesha. Being taking its own site in the Hridaya Pradesha, it is going to do some functioning activity. What are those? What it tells? Krit Snehacharihi Mahajavaha. Being taking in the Hridaya Pradesha, it moves all over the body. That what it tells? Mahajavaha. Mahajava means pervading throughout all the body, because Hridaya is the center of all the your body. So being centralized in that cases, it helps in the momentary action towards all the bodily functioning activity. Gat Tapekshenaha, Upekshenaha, Nimesha, Unmeshanadikihi. In the karma, you have learned different types of the karmas, that is Uchepana, Pakshepana, Akunchana, Prasarana, and Gamanaha. So Gati means movement. It helps in the momentary action of the upward movement, downward movement. When we do any content with related to having the upward movement or downward movement, it is because of the involvement of the Vyanavayu. And Unmesha Nimesha means closing of the eyes and opening of the eyes. Both the activities are being done by the involvement of the Vyanavatu. So, such type of the activities being controlled by the Vyana only. Kriyas Tasmin Pratibaddaha Shariranam. Any type of the momentary action which is going to be considered with respect to the activities, it is always being controlled by the Vyanavayu also. Right? Next, Samanavata. What are the sthana of Samanavata? Samano Agni Samipastaha. The sthana of Samana is Agni Pradeshaha. Poste Charati Sarvata. Being situated in the Agni Pradeshaha, it moves all over the Posta Pradeshaha. What we call it as Posta means the elementary tract. What we consider with related to the GIT tract with respect to elementary, it is going to be pervaded in all those places. It helps in what all conditions? It does the Annam Grahanatihi. It helps in digesting the ahara what is being grahanati and pachati. It helps in the deepana, pachana, as a vivechayati and munchati, which helps in breaking, which helps in the nourishing, which helps in the assimilation, which helps in the elimination. All these character with related to anna is being controlled by the samanavata. Next is apanavata. Apano apanagaha, which is mainly residing in the Apana Pradesha. Here Apana Pradesha means which can be compared with the rectum area, right? And after being situated in that place where it does does its momentary actions. Shroni, Basti, Medro, Gocharaha. Being in that place, it moves into the Shroni Pradesha, Basti Pradesha, Medra Pradesha, Uru Pradesha. All these areas are being pervaded. Shukra Artava, Shakran Mutra, Garbha Nishkramanat Priyaha. Being situated or being doing the activities of all these things, it activates the what we call it as taking out the Shukra, Artava, Mutra. All these are being eliminated. All these are being ejaculated from the body of the person. Is one is Shukra, one is Artava, one is your Mala, one more is Mutra. All these activities or all these elimination can be taken out, or which are taken out from the body is the functioning activity of the Apana Vataha. These are the 5 which are being explained with respect to the different types of the Vataha. Next, moving on to the types of the Pittaha. First one is Pachaka Pitta. What are its functioning activity? Where it is residing? Let's see. Pittam Panchatmakam Tatraha Pakwa Amashaya Madhyagam Panchabhutatmakam Madhya Apihi Yat Tejasa Gunodaya Yakta Dravatvam Pakadihi Karmanaha Anala Shabditvam Pachat Annam Vibhajatehe Sarakittau Prataktataha Tatrastvameva Pittanam Sheshanam Apya Anugrahanam Karotihi Baladaninaha Pachakam Namaha Tasmritam. What this Pachaka Pitta is going to do its activities? Pittam Panchatmakam Tatraha Pakva Amashaya Madhyam. Being situated in the site of the Pakva and Amashaya, in between the Pakvashaya and Amashaya, it is also having divided into 5 types. The first one is Pachaka Pitta. Why this is called as Pachaka Pitta, which is residing in between the Pakvashaya and Amashaya is, it is a Pachaka because where there is a consistency of the 5 Mahabhutas which are involved in the constituents of the body and which helps in the what we call it, whatever the ahara which is being taken in our body, which divides the ahara into Sarabhaga and Kittabhaga, and which is going to have the less solidified. It is having the less consistency of the Dravata Rupatmaka, which is converted in the form of the Stula Rupatmaka. That is a role of the Pachaka Pitta, which is going to do its action with related to different types of the food materials what a person is being taken. It is said by this name as a Pachaka because it is having the involvement of the Agni, which helps in the assimilation of the food materials taken by a person. So Paka is a word which is mainly related to the Agni. So Pachaka Pitta. So the Paka which is morely relevant to the Pachakaha, which does the Pachana Kriya. That's why it is called as Pachaka Pitta. So this Pachaka Pitta helps in the food digestion, food separation, food consumption, all these, and taking out the ahara which is being again divided into Sara and the Kitta Bhagaha. So this Pachaka is also having its own place, being in that place, gives a support to, and which is also takes a main role to give a nourishment over dhatus, which helps in the Uttarottara Dhatu Poshana also, this Pachaka Pitta, that we have to always keep in mind. Next, second one is Ranjaka Pitta and Sadhaka Pitta, Alochaka Pitta and Brajaka Pitta, the remaining other 4 types of the Pittaha. Amashayashriyam Pittam Ranjakam Rasaranjana Buddhi Medabhimanaha Buddhi Medabhimane Abhipretartaha Sadhanam Sadhakam Rudgatam Pittam Rupa Alochanataha Sprutam Drikastam Alochakam Takastaha Brajakam Brajanat Tvachaha. What Acharya want to tell here is the different types of these other 4 remaining pittas, that is Ranjaka, Sadhaka, Alochaka and Brajaka. Why these are being named after these things means, Ranjaka means which is going to be considered as having the Rasaranjanat. Rasaranjanat means what? Rasaha Ranjanat means the rasa which helps in the giving the color to that particular bhakta. That is called as Ranjanaha, Rasaranjanat. Buddhi Medabhi Abhimanaha, Abhimana there, Abhipretartaha Sadhanam, which is going to help in the what we call it as the Buddhi, Meda and all, right? So which is going to be considered as one of the content of this particular types of the type of a Pittaha. Then next move on to the Sadaka Pitta. Where this Sadaka Pitta is residing? Sadakam Rudgatam. It is being situated in the Sadaka. Along with Vyanavata in the Vata, here Sadaka Pitta is also taking its site in the Hridaya Pradesha, because it helps in the what we call it as the whatever the person want to have a dream of conquering something or having a determination of doing something, it is only because of the Sadaka Pitta which is residing in the Hridayaha, which helps in taking a right decision, or else what we call it as being situated in the Hridaya Pradesha, it is highly active, which is what we already understood in the previous shloka. Buddhi Medabhimanaha. All these are a controller. All these are the functioning activities which is done by the this type of the Pittaha. Next one is Alochaka. As everybody know that this Alochaka Pitta is being situated in the Akshipradesha. Being situated in that place, it helps in the visuality or the perception of the any form of the picture which is formed on your retina or else in the Drik Pradesha. This is what we call it as the Alochaka Pitta. Last one is Brajaka. As we know that Brajaka Pitta is situated in the Tvagendriya, right? Because of the, it is going to give you a Brajakam Brajanatvachaha. Tvakastam Brajakam Brajanatvachaha, which gives a luster or which gives a color, varna to your tvacha. That's why it is called as Brajaka Pitta, which is going to be helpful in the giving the varnataha to your tvachaha. These are the types of the Pitta. Next, move on to the Avalambaka Kapha. That is types of the kafas. There are 5 types. The first one is Avalambakaha, Shleshma tu Panchadaha Vurastaha, Sa Trikasya Swaviryataha, Rudayasya Anna Viryaschaha, Tatastaha Eva Ambu Karmanaha, Kafatmanam Cha Sheshanam, Yat Korotvam Avalambanam, Ato Avalambakaha Shleshmaha. So this is a type of a kapha which is going to be narrated as a different types. The first one is the kapha which is having, that is Leshmana, having a avalambana. Avalambana means which is a supporting factor. It is being mainly present in the Trika Pradesha, Urastaha, Sa Trikasaha, Swaviryataha. It is being situated in the Ura Pradesha. It helps in the Trika. Trika means here that which is going to support your bodily structures which are going to be formed for the main supporting pillar of our Sharira. That is what we call it as the Trikasya Swaviryataha. Trika means the supporting part of the back or the lower part of the spine and the waist by as well as that of the Ahara, which is going to be considered into the form of the whole body, where Hridaya is a main place where there is a Avalambaka, that is supporting factor for all these areas near the Ura Pradesha. That's why it is called as Avalambakaha. This type of the things what we are going to consider can be done through the functioning of the Jala, that is functioning of the water, which is going to be having the consistency of supporting and the kapha of the remaining. So this is the main supporting kapha which is going to help the other supporting kafas. Avalambaka kapha helps in the supporting of the other kafas also. Next, second one is Kledaka. Kledaka, what it does? Kledaha, so annam sangatam kledanat rasabodhanat bodakoho rasannastapihi. So this type of Kledaka kapha being present in the Amashaya, Yastva Amashaya Samstitaha, being situated in the Amashaya Pradesha, it is known as such because it does the Kledataha. Kledaka, it means it does the moistening of the ahara which is being consumed of a person. Whatever the food material the person consumes, it keeps its moistening in the Amashaya. That's why it is called as Kledaka kapha. What is the role of Bodaka? Being located in the Jiva Pradesha, Rasabodhanat. That's why it is called as Rasabodhanat. And known by its name because it is going to help in the perceiving as well as identifying the rasa, different types of rasa. Different types of rasa means whether it is Madhura rasa, Katu rasa, Amla rasa. Such type of the activities done by the Bodhaka kapha. That's why it is called as Bodhanaha, or else the identifying of the different types of the taste consumed of a person. Next, last two are Tarpaka and the Shleshmakaha. Shiraha Samstoho Akshatarpana, Tarpakaha Sandhi Samshleshaha, Shleshakaha Sandhishu Stitaha. Tarpaka kapha being situated in the Shirastanaha, As it is, why it is called as Tarpaka Kapha? It is going to give a what we call it as the supporting factor, or else it is going to give an initiation to functioning activity of all the sensory functions. The functioning of the sensory organs are being controlled or being helped by this Tarpaka Kapha. Last one is Shleshaka. Shleshaka, which is being situated in the Sandhi Pradesha, it mainly helps in giving the strength and the lubrication, what we call it as the Sandhi Samshleshaha. That is what having the lubrication of between the joints. That is mainly helped by this particular type of the Shleshaka Kapha only. That which is going to be considered as the Sandhi Pradesha supporting factor. So these are the different types of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Vedas, that which can understood the functioning activity of each of the Veda pertaining to doshaha. This next, what it tells, iti prayena doshanam stanyanya vikrutatmanaha vyapina apihi janiyat karmani cha pratak pratak. So being its own side, being in their own side, which are having their normal condition, the person may be having a swastha vyakti, being living its own side, and which is being affected with the diseases pervading to other sthanas, then it leads to the person to have the manifestation of the diseases. So before understanding the concept of the diseases, first we have to understand which doshas are being present in which type of the sthanas. Then only it becomes easy for the physician to identify the lakshanas, identify the sthanas, then what are the abnormal sthanas or the abnormal functioning activity of each of the dosha. That's the reason Acharya Bhagbata, he has given the elaborate content of all these particular different types of the sthana and different types of the Vata, Pitta and the Kapha. Next, move on to the Vata, Chaya, Prakopa, Nidanaha. Next, Acharya talks about the Chaya, Prakopa and the Prashamavastha of each of the doshas, that is Vata, Pitta and the Kapha. Let's learn about that. Ushnena yuktaha rukshadha vayoho kurvantihi sanchayam. Shitena kopam ushnenaha shamam snigdadayoho gunaha. After learning about these doshas and different types, when these such doshas being in their own sthanas, when they are going to get accumulated, that is Chayavastha, when they are going to get Prakopavastha, what are these when they are going to get Chayavastha? By taking which type of ahara, or by going towards which type of the nidanas, the doshas are going to get Chayavastha in their own sthana. When they are going to get Kopavastha in their own sthana, that has to be understood. Next concept. So what Acharya tells here is, Ushnena yuktaha rukshadha vayoho kurvanti sanchayam. That means when Vata, as everybody know that Vata is having ruksha gunatmaka pradhanyaha. When such ruksha gunatmaka pradhanya Vata guna gets combined with the Ushna guna of the other dosha, then it goes into the Sanchaya Avastaha. Why it doesn't go to Kopana Avastha? Means, as we know that the main sthana of Vata dosha is Ruksha. The same Ruksha, when it goes and combines with Ushna, it is going to have its Chaya Avastaha. It doesn't go to the Prakopavastha. It is only going to have the Chaya Avastaha. So this is the main quality of the to increase the Vata dosha in its own sthana. The same qualities when it is being associated with the Shita. Shitnena Kopam Ushnena. That means the same, what we call it as Vayoho Kurvanti Sanchayam. What he has told with respect to Vata, the same qualities when it is being associated with Shita, it is going to have the Kopanavastaha. Why it is going to have Kopanavastha? Because the guna of the Vata dosha is mainly Shita. When Ruksha and Shita together combine, it is going to have the Kopana Avastaha. The same next it tells with the Kapha. The Snigdha of the Kapha dosha, when it goes and combines with the other qualities, it is only having the Chayavastha. But the same Snigdha guna goes and combines with the Shita, then it is going to have the Kopanavastha. This is the two things we have to understand with respect to Chaya and Kapha avastha of the Chaya and the Prakopa avastha of the Vata and the Kapha. This is with respect to Vata, what he is telling. Next, Pitta Chaya Kopa Nidana, what he tells. Shitena Yitta Snigdha Jashreshcha पित्तश्च कुर्वतेः उष्णेन कोपं मन्द्याद्यः शमं शीत उपसंहिताः. As we know that Tikshna is the main quality of Pitta, this Shitena Yutta, Shita Guna, when it going to get combined with the Tikshna Guna, it is only going to have the Chaya Avastha. The same qualities when there is a Shita goes and combines in the form of its increasing Avastha, then it goes have the Kopana Avastha. Thus, the qualities of Manda Guna of the Kapha, when it goes and combines with the opposite qualities of the Pitta, it is going to have it is going to subside the Pitta dosha. For example, when Ushna goes and combines with the Shita, then there will be this Prashama Avastha of the Pitta. The same Manda Guna of the Kapha dosha, when it goes and combines with the other contributory factors of the other gunas, then there will be a normalcy of the Pitta dosha. But as we know that these qualities can be understood through the Samanya Vishesha Siddhanta. As we already know that Vriddhi Samane Sarvesha Viparitai Vipareyaha. So such type of the concept has to be understood whenever we are going to learn about the Vriddhi and the Chayavastha, or the Chayavastha and the Prakopavastha and the Prashamavastha. Next, let's get back to the Kafachaya Upanidanaha. Shitena Yukta Snigdadya Kurvatehe Shleshmanaschayam Ushnena Kopam Tenevaha Gunaha Rukshadeya Shamam. The Snigdha Guna is the main contributing factor of the Kapha dosha. The qualities of these Kapha, when they are going to get associated with the Shita Avastaha, that is going to produce the a slight variation of the Kapha dosha to be manifested in the person. When this same Shita Guna gets combines with the opposite qualities like Ushna, when Shita goes and combines with the Ushna, which is going to have the just now I told you Sarvada Sarva Bhavana Samanyam Vriddhi Karanam, and we told that Vriddhi Samane Sarvesham Viparitai Viparegud. When any dosha which has to be decreased, we have to always concentrate on the Viparita Guna. And when any dosha which has to be increased and get back to Samya Avastha, again we have to look into the opposite qualities. And when we want to increase, we have to look into the Samanya Guna. When we want to decrease, we have to look into the Vishishta Guna here. So this is how the Pitta, Vata and the Kapha, Chaya and Kopana Avastha can be understood with respect to its Gunas. We have to, any Gunas when we want to understand, it is always Gurvadi Guna which will help you to understand the increase or the decrease or the concept with related to the Avastha of the doshas in the Chaya or else the Prakopa or else Vriddhi or Prashama Avastaha. That has to be, Gurvadi Gunas are to be properly understood in the treatment protocol. Next, he talks this Chaya and Prakopa Avastha with respect to the, again, in the cases of its increase and the aggravation. Chayo ruddhihi swadamyamaha pradveshoho ruddhi hetushu viparita gunesha. Just now I was talking with you. Viparita gunesha cha opastun margam gamitaha linganam darshanam swesham avastasyaha roga sambhaha swasthanasthiha samataha vikara sambhavaha shamaha. That is Chaya Avastha and the Kopa Avastha. He is going to give a narration or else the definition with related to Chaya and the Prakopa Avastha. Chaya is nothing but it is the increase in its own side. Increase its own side means, for example, we know that Vatasthana, its own side is Pakvashaya, Kati Sakti and all those. And this causes the dislike towards the substance. When these doshas are in the Chaya Avastha, the person will start disliking the gunas with related to that particular dosha. For example, I told you Vata gunas are Ruksha, Laghu, Shita and all. So the person start disliking such type of the Gunayukta Ahara or Gunayukta Viharas. But in turn he start liking the Ahara which are Viparita Guna. For example, Ruksha he start liking Snigdha. If it is Shita he starts liking Ushna. So such type of the tendency you can see a patient. When a patient comes to you, he tells himself, or else many a times when we ask a Prashna Pariksha has been done to a patient, he tells that his liking is towards to the against to the dosha which has been provoked in the Sharira. But what happens in the Kopa Avastha? In Kopana, what it tells? The abnormal movement. In Kopa Avastha, what happens? Leaving its own sthana. For example, Vatasthana, I told you Pakvasha. In Kopavastha, it leaves its own sthana and start moving to the other sthanas of the Sharira. In that cases, it is called as Kopanavastha. Because when anything is being overly accumulated, it cannot stay in own sthana. It starts moving towards the other sthanas, spreading to other sthanas. Being in that cases, it starts showing its Purva Rupa Lakshanas or the Rupa Lakshanas. In a diseases, when any disease you want to diagnose, before that you have to see the Purva Rupa or else the Rupa Lakshanas. These Purva Rupa or Rupa can be seen in the Gopanavastha of the any type of the Vyadihi. So in such condition, what happens? The patient will start feeling the not feeling it will be in the Vikara Avastha, it will be in the Vyadi Avastha. That is the difference between the Chaya Avastha and the Kopanavastha. Next, third one he tells here, it is Shama Avastha. Swasthanastasya samataha vikara sambhavaha shamaha. Shamaha means it is subsidation of the symptoms or the signs or the lakshanas what you are going to see in the doshas. So that means the doshas will come to its Samya Avastha after giving a thorough treatment or after finding out what are the signs and symptoms, what are the Nidanakara Ahara Vihara which are responsible for the manifestation of diseases. In such condition, if you give a correct train of treatment, then the doshas will come to its Samyavastha, which is called as Shamavastha. So this is how the concept of Chaya, Prakopavastha or the Kopanavastha and the Shamavastha can be understood. Now let's get back to the Chaya Prakopa Kalaha. And next Acharya tells with related to the same Chaya Prakopa Prashama Avastha with respect to the Rutu Avastaha. Chaya Prakopa Prashamaha Vayo Grishmadishu Trishu Varshadishu tu Pittasyaha Shleshmana Shishiradishu. When we want to understand this Chaya Prakopa Prashama Avastha with respect to the Rutu Anusaraha, Acharya what it tells? Chaya Prakopa Prashamaha Vayor Grishmadishu Trishu. Vata which goes to the Chaya Avastha in Grishma Rutu. Why it only goes to the Chaya Avastha in the Grishma Rutu means, as we know that this Chaya Avastha which is going to be understood, it is having the only in the Grishma Rutu, it is having only the slight accumulation of the dosha. It doesn't go to the Prakopavastha. Why it doesn't go to Prakopavastha means, in Grishma there is already hot climate is present and Vata is having Shita. That Shita guna which is embedded in the Vata dosha, this Ushna which is present outside our Sharir, that is in the Loka, it is going to not allow that Vata dosha to go into the Prakopavastha. It only keeps in the Chaya Avastaha. That is the reason it doesn't go to the Prakopavastha. But in turn, this Vata dosha goes into the Prakopavastha in the Varsha Rutu. Because Vata is also having Shita and Varsha is also having Shita Gunatmaka in nature. That's why it goes into the Prakopa. But by the time it comes to the Sharad Rutuhu, this Vata itself will go to the Prashamana Avastha. The same, it is going to good hold for the other doshas also, like for Pitta and Kapha. Pitta is going to have its Chaya Avastha in the Varsha Rutu. Why only it goes only in the Chaya Avastha in Varsha Rutu means, Pitta is having Ushna and Varsha is having Shita Gunu. That's why it is only going to be get accumulated during the time of Chaya Avastha. But when it comes to by the time of Sharad Rutu, it goes to the Prakopavastha. By the time of Hemant Rutu, it goes to the Prashamavastha. That's why we know that Vata, it is in Varsha Rutu, we always prefer for going for the Basti. Shodhana Shamana Chikitsa, when we are planning, the best Rutu which can be adopted for the each of the doshas to taken out from the body is, for Vata it is Varsha Rutu, Varsha Bastihi. And for Pitta, when we want to plan for Virechana, it can be done with the Prakopavastha of the Sharad Rutu. That means we doesn't take much effort to drag out. In a Prakopavastha, it becomes easy for a Vaidya to take out the Prakopitavastha dosha in a very easy form. And next Kapha, it is only Chayavastha in Shishira Rutu, then Prakopavastha. That's why in Prakopavastha, in Vasanta Rutu, we plan for the Vamana. It doesn't mean that we are not supposed to do the Shodhana Chikitsa in other Rutus. But in these Rutus, without any much effort, without giving any of the other line of treatment, it becomes easy to drag out the dosas which has vitiated in the body in these particular Rutus. And Prashamavastha is Grishma Rutu. Kapha gets its Vilayana, its own site in the Prashamavastha in the Grishma Rutu. This is how the protocol of Rutu Anusara Dosha Chaya Prakopavastha has to be understood. Next, what he tells with related to the same thing, what I explained in the 25, 26 and 27 shlokas. This is how why this Chaya, Prakopa, Prashanavastar can be understood with respect to Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Next, the nature of time, that is Kala Swabhavaha. Iti Kala Swabhaho Ayam Ahara Devashat Punaha Chayadinam Yantihi Sadyo Apihi Doshaha Kale Apiva Natuhu. So whenever we look into the season, when we look into that is Rutu and Dosha, it doesn't mean that only according to this Rutu, these doshas are going to be get variable. See, even according to the Rutu, if the person is following this Ahara Vihara, but still the person, one who is going to be consider that in other Rutu, whether these doshas are not accumulated, whether they are not going to chavas, if there is a variation in taking ahara vihara without following the paddhati or the charya of rutus, after this also the variation of the food regimen the person is being not consuming, or else the other with respect to the taking the ahara, with respect to the consumption of the less quantity of ahara, all these things depending upon the particular rutu which are going to be get affected to the person. So according to rutu also, if the person is doing the things, but somewhere there is a variation of not following the things, maybe it is ahara or vihara, that is also going to have the impact on the person's body, right? So this is what they have. Keeping all these things in a mind, the person has to undergo the shodhana chikitsa. It may be vamana, virechana, or else the basti, what has to be understood. Next, he talks about the व्याप्नोति सहसाः देहम आपदम अलस्तस्कः निवर्तते तु कुपितोः मलोः अल्प अल्पः jalogavат. That means the malas which are being formed in the sharira, when they are going to be increased, they are pervaded all over the body very quickly with respect to any type of the mala what we can consider. It may vary from, or it may pervade, or it may spread to all over body, maybe from the upper to lower, or maybe from the foot to head also. But when it is being evacuated, or when it is being dragged out from the body, it is very slow. That means when it comes to the part of spreading, it is a very quick movement which is going to be happen. But when it is going to be considered as when we are treating, or when they are going to be evacuated, it becomes a very slow process in taking out. He gives a simile here. Malo alpa alpam jalogavat. That means just like he compares with, gives a simile that the floods in the river. Just like the floods which are going to get very gushing into the rivers. In the same way, the malas which are vitiated in the body, they spread very quickly in the sharira, just like the floods which are going to go and enter into the rivers. That simile he is going to give in this particular shloka. Next, what it tells here is Nana Rupai Asanker Vikarehe Kupitaha Malaha Tapayanti Tanum Tasmadvetat Akruti Sadhanam Shakyam Na Ekaikashoho Vaktum Mataha Samanyam Uchyatehe. So the doshas next it tells Nana Rupai Sanker Vikaraha. The doshas which are vitiated, they may be invariably present in the body. It may be with respect to the signs and symptoms, any type of the lakshanas which are going to produce depending upon the involvement of the dosha. So they may be invariably different types. They may be several types, or invariably present. The lakshanas may be different. The content may be different, the signs may be different, the vyadhis may be different, depending upon the variation of the increase and the decreasing of the doshas. It becomes it becomes very difficult to say that how these doshas are going to have in the manifestation of the disease in its permutation and combination. So every individually, whenever the person is going to suffer with any diseases or any vaidya, when you want to do a diagnosis of a diseases, we have to always look into the nidanas which are responsible for that. What are the lakshanas it is being exhibiting in the sharira? What type of the treatment we can plan out for those symptoms or plan out for that diseases? All these are going to be considered with respect to the the signs or the symptoms or the doshas which are involved, whether it is tarabhava or tamabhava, which dosha is increased, which dosha has a slight variation, which is higher in form. We have to keep all these things in a mind, then we have to give a treatment. Next, what it is, doshas which are only positive factor for the manifestation of the diseases. What are those? Dosha eva hi sarvesham roganam ekaika karanam yatapakshi paripata. That means what it tells here is doshas are only the responsible factor. As we know that doshas are itself the dosha dhatu mala moolam hi shariram. These are the only moola for the formation of the sharira. In the same way, doshas are only the responsible factor which play a very important role in the manifestation of the diseases. That's what it tells. Dosha eva hi sarvesham. Sarvesham roganam. Sarvesham, all the types of the disease which are manifested in a person, they all are manifested only because of the involvement of the doshas. Ekaika karanam, they are the only responsible factor for the manifestation of the diseases. He gives one more simile. Yata pakshihi paripatanam sarvataha sarvam apyaha. That means when the birds or any pakshi, when it is wandering and flying in the sky, in all direction the whole day, it does not come across any of its own shadow, because without its, the things are not going to happen. In the same way, without the doshas, without leaving the doshas, nobody can have a manifestation of a disease. This is what the concept we have to understand here. All the things which may be formed, which are a responsible factor, as we know that nowadays we are doing this prakriti assessment. So for the formation of the body, prakriti is a main key role to understand. This prakriti is also assessed on the formation of the involvement of the dosha which are present in the body. Vata, pitta and the kapha. Who is a vata prakriti person, who is a pitta prakriti person, or who is a kapha prakriti person. In that way also what it tells, right? All these diseases which are being formed, whenever we are doing the pariksha of the any patient or a person, what we see is the Doshabhedeeya pariksha, prakriti, vikruti, sarasam. See, the first one is always prakriti. This prakriti and vikruti is also assessed on the basis of the doshas which are present in the body only. So doshas are only the responsible factor to assess anything in a person. So anything which has to be assessed, it is only because of the dosha which is involved in that. In the same way, any type of the disease which are manifested, produced even by the vitiation of the dhatus of its own body, cannot originate, cannot manifest, or cannot exist without the involvement of the three doshas. That's why there is a already in the first years you might have learned, that is dusha samurchana. That is, doshas are only responsible for dhatus to get vitiated. Even though dhatus get dusha also, it is only doshas which make to tendency of those dhatus to get vitiated. Here with respect to the things, we understood that dosha roga hetutvaha. Dosha will become the hetu for the manifestation of the diseases. In the next shloka, Acharya is going to give a narrate about the Triviga dosha karanas. This already I have learnt in the initial chapters of your Ashtanga Hridaya also. Here, elaborately Acharya gives the Trivida karanas for the rogotpatti. What are those? Tesham kopetu karanam. Dosha, to become prakopavastha, there are again three karanas. What are those? Arte rasa satmehi sanyogaha kalaha karma cha dushtakrutam. Hina ati mitya yogenaha vidyate tatpunastridaha. Hina mitya and the ati yoga. These three types are again the subclassifications of the three contents. One is indriyartaha, second one is kalaha, and third one is karmaha. If these three are involved in the manifestation of the diseases, there are chances to have the manifestation of a diseases by the involvement of Trivida Rogotpatti Karanas. What are those Trivida Rogotpatti Karanas? There again subclassification, let us see. The first one is Artha Yoga. Artha Yoga means here is Indriyartha. Indriyartha means the functioning activity of Indriyas with respect to their Indriyarthas, how they are taking a role in the manifestation of diseases. Let's learn that. The first one already Acharya said that Hina Yoga. Next one is Ati Yoga. Next one is Mithya Yoga. Hina Yoga means what? There is a less usage of your indriyas in doing of any of its functioning activity. For example, let's take the one of the sensory organ as your chakshu. So chakshu has to be used for anything to be have its visuality. When a person doesn't properly use it for a certain period of time, then that will also lead to the hampering of the functioning activity of that particular sensory organ. So lack of contact of the eye contact, which is happened because of the hina yoga. Next, when we are using the same chakshu with respect to in ati yoga, that also leads to the manifestation of the symptoms or the disease. For example, nowadays in the present generation, we are using excessively our chakshu for watching the TV, watching the mobiles, watching the computers, watching the laptops, all these, what we call it as computer vision. Because of ati yoga is leading to the computer vision syndrome. That means it is one of the karana for the manifestation of some of the symptoms or the diseases also. It is not only with the chakshu, other sensory organs. For example, if you take the ears, when you are excessively hearing the sound, a very loud sound, a very sound which is a terrible one, which is unbearable to hear, if it becomes excessive, a person, the functioning activity of the eardrum is also going to be lost. So such nowadays we are continuously hearing the sounds of the this TVs or the DJ songs, all those, it is going to be have as a Ati yoga, or the smell of any what we call it as the very bad smell, or very a smell which is having a very arrogant smell, that is also hampering our nasa indriya. So ati yoga is also leading to some of the lakshanas or the diseases pertaining to that sensory organs which are used in the form of hina yoga. Mithya means wrongly using. Wrongly using means we are supposed to use for a certain period of time, or we are supposed to use it for only certain things what has to be done. When we are using it in a wrong concept, then it becomes the mithya yoga. This is with respect to what? Artha yoga. Next, what it tells here is kala. Kala means here we have to understand the rutus. Just now I was talking you with related to your chaya avastha, prakopa avastha and prashama avastha of the different doshas. Here it tells according to Ritu Anusara. For example, nowadays you might have seen it is Shita Kala, it has been started raining in Bangalore and some other area because of the cyclone. So what it is, whether it is Hina, Mithya or the Ati Yoga, it is the Mithya Yoga. In a rainy season, if it rains, then it is not a problem. But living in the other season, if it starts raining, then it is a wrong concept or the wrong understanding of the Kalaha. Ati means in a rainy season, how much it has to be rain, that much it has to be rain. If it is excessively falling the rain, then it becomes the atiya. Hina means in a rainy season, it has to be rain. But if there is no, what we call it as atirushti and anavrushti. Anavrushti means it is in the form of hina. Atirushti means it is ati yoga. Right? Mithya means without having that season, in that season, other rainy, other content of the other season are going to take place. The climatic variation which are going to take place in not that speculated time, then it becomes the that particular hina, mithya and the ati yoga. That is with respect to the kalaha. Next it tells about the karma. Karma, in karma what it tells? Kaya vak ati chitta virena karmani vibhajayet vidaha kayadi karmana hina pravurtir hina saudnikaha ati yogo nivrittistuhu vego dirana dharane vishamanga kriyaramba patanaha svakanaha naditam bhashanam savikuptam ragadveshadi cha karmaha pranati patadihi dashadaha yach ninditam mithya yoga samastesham asavivaha va atra Va amutram va krutam. That means kaya vak chitta bedena. Karma is related to what? Kaya vak chitta bedena. If person is going to do the mithya, hina and the ati yoga of this kaya vak chitta, how much person has to speak very nicely. If he uses a very harsh words, if he sits in a wrong postures, if he speaks in between the food when he is having, all these are pertaining to what? Kaya vaka and the chitta. His physical activities are beyond the things what he is doing, which is not flexible, which is not necessarily to be done during those days. If he is harshly using, if he is using the, or if he is doing the himsa karma, all these things are pertaining to the karma. Or he is having the raga dveshadi. If he is having a, we always know that we take a oath. We are going to have a divide of arishad vargas, raga, dvesha, moha, murcha and all. If person is not following this, then it becomes the karma yukta. These are also responsible factor for the manifestation of the related to the manasika vyadis also. This is with related to karma. These are the three components pertaining to Trivida Rogotpatti Karanam. Nidanam etat doshanam kupitastanehnekadaha kurvati vividanam vyadinam shaka koshtasthi sandishu. Next he talks about the another responsible factor for the utpatti of the diseases are the Trivida Roga Margas. First one is Bai Roga Marga, second one is Koshta, third one is Marmasti Sandishu. So several types of the disease are having the Shaka, Koshta and the Marmasti Sandishu. First learn about the Shaka Shrita Roga Marga, that is Bahi Roga Marga. What are those rogas or the symptoms which are being seen in the Shaka Shrita? Shakaha Raptadayastvakcha Baya Rogayanam Hitat Tadashrayaha Masham Gangaha Ganda Alarjaha Arbudadayaha Bahirbhagaschaha Durnamaha Gulma Shofodayoho. These are the diseases which are can be seen in the Bahirmaga. What are those? Which are having the diseases which are pertaining to Rapta Dhatu and the Tvachagata Vikara, Vaya Roga. What are those? Masha, Vyanga, Ganda, Alaji, Arbuda, all these are. Again, Gulma, Shofa and all these diseases are related to the Bahir Roga Margaha. Next, Koshta, Anta Koshtoho Mahasrotaha, Ama Pakwa Shreya Shreyaha, Tat Sadhana Chardi Atisara Kasha Shvasho Durujvaraha, Antarbagam Cha Shofa Arsho Gulma, Visarpa Vidradihi. Again, in Antakoshta means the diseases which can be seen in the Amashaya and the Pakvashaya, which we also call it as the Antamargaha. Diseases to this are can be considered as a Chardi, Atisara, Kasa, Shwasa, Udara, Jwara, Shofa, Arsha, Gulma. All these are the Vyadis which can be seen in the Amashaya or else the Pakvashaya, that is Antar Roga Margaha. Next remains is the Marmasti Sandisuhu. Shira, Rudaya, Basti, Adi, Marmanyastha, Cha, Sandayaha, Tanibaddaha, Sirasnayu, Kanda, Radhyaschaha, Madhyamaha, Roga Margaha, Sirastatraha, Yakshva, Pakshva, Vadarditaha, Urdadi, Rogaha, Sandhyastihi, Ikshulaha, Grahadayaha. Marmasti Sandishu means the diseases which are related to the Shira, Rudaya, Basti, Marma Pradeshaha, Asti Pradeshaha, Sira, Snayu, Kandaraha, all these are considered as Madhyama Roga Marga. They are also called as Madhyama Roga Margaha. Yakshma, Pakshma, Vada, Arditaha, all these are the rogas which can be seen in the Madhyama Roga Margas. So these are the Trivida Roga Margas where the diseases are manifested. One, the person has to understand which type of the roga comes under which margaha. So it becomes easy for a treatment. For a Vaidya, it becomes very easy to understand the which roga comes in the which roga margaha. Next it tells about the dosha lakshanas. Whenever the doshas are in the Ruddhya Avastha, what type of the lakshanas they are going to find. First we'll see the Vata dosha. It is Sramsra, Vyasa, Veda, Swapa, Sada, Uruktoda Bedanam, Sanga, Anga, Banga, Sankocha, Varta, Harshana, Tarshanam, Kampa, Parusha, Saushirya, Shosha, Spandana Veshtanam, Stambha, Kashaya Rasataha, Varnaha, Shavo, Aruna, Pivaha, Karmani, Vayohu. So whenever there is an involvement of the Vayu, it is going to produce the karmas like Samsra Vyasa, just now what I read, and it produces the Varna, any diseases which are being manifested, which is going to produce the Varna or the color is Shava Varna Yukta or the Aruna Varna Yukta. And it is having going to have the it tells Stambha Kashaya Rasata Varnaha, which is going to have the Kashaya Rasataha. Next, Pitta Karmaha. Pitta is going to produce its lakshanas as Daha, Raga, Oshma, Pakitaha, Sweda, Kleda, Sti, Kota, Sadanam, Murchanam, Madaha, Katukamlau, Raso, Varnaha, Pandur, Aruna, Varjitaha. Pandur Aruna Varjita. So the person one who is going to have this pitta involvement, it is going to produce the colors other than the Aruna Varana, that is whitish yellow and the reddish brown. Aruna Varanaha. And it is going to have the taste which is going to be produced in that person are Katu Rasa and the Amla Rasa. In the previous Vata it was Kashaya Rasaha. Here in Pitta it is Katu and the Amla Rasaha. Kapha Karma it is going to produce Sneha Katinya Kandu Shitatma Gauravam. Bandho Upalepa Staimitya Shopha Paktaha Atinitrataha. The person is going to have Atinitrataha. What type of the Varna you are going to see here? The person is going to have the Shweta Varna Yuktaha. And Swadu Lavanai Chirakarita. Person is going to have the looking towards the Swadu Rasa and the Lavana Rasaha. These are with respect to the Vata Pitta Kapha Lakshanas of the aggravation. Next, he tells, after explaining about Vata Pitta Kapha, Roga Margaha, and what after Trivida Rogotpatti Karana, next he tells about the characteristics of the Vaidya, how the Vaidya has to look into all these, consider, act his duties. What he tells, after knowing all these things, what the Vaidya has to be, Darshane Dharam Avaitam Bastasva Samyak Upalakshayet Vyadhyavastitam Vibhagadhyaha Paschanartanam Pratikshanam. So he has to properly identify the symptoms, he has properly identify what are the Nidanakara responsible for the manifestation of the diseases, and he has to properly identify whether the disease is Sadhya Vyadhi or Asadhya Vyadhi, what are the Upadravas the person is going to look into that particular diseases. Then the patient has to be thoroughly understand understand the stage of a diseases. Then he has to come to a diagnosis of a diseases. Once to do all these things, the Vaidya should be properly well educated with a theoretical aspect as well as practical aspect. His duty is to do what? To properly understand this disease. When he can do all these things, when he understand the things in a very good way of theoretical way as well as in the practical way. Next text talks about the Trivida Vyadhis. Shall I continue, Dr. Harshita?
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Okay. Trivida Vyadhis. Next it talks about the Trivida Vyadhis. Dushta Parajaha Kachit Kichit Purva Paradajaha Tat Sankarat Bhavatantyoho Vyadhirevam Tridaha Sprutaha. Diseases can be manifested into three types. What are those? First, what it tells, diseases which are manifested because of the act what he has done in the present birth, and diseases which are manifested because of the act which are done in his previous birth. We know that Ayurveda totally believes in the Purva Janmakata Papa Karmas and the what we call it as Daivakara and the Purushakara. So the third one is combination of both. Any act which is done without knowing, that is Prajna Parada, with knowing and without knowing also. This is one category of the diseases. Next also what it tells, diseases which are manifested because of the intake of Ahara Vihara, that is Nidanakara Ahara Vihara when he consumes, that is also is going to helpful in the manifestation of the diseases. This is one condition. And diseases which are produced because of the karmas, whatever the act we have done, whatever the Shubha and Ashubha karmas we have done, on that basis if the disease are being manifested, that is one type of the disease. And next one, by both, by taking Ahara Vihara, along with that karma also, if you are going to do any Ashubha karmas, that will also add on to the manifestation of the diseases. So this is again three types, second combination of the three types of the diseases. Next, Vipaksha Shilana Purvam Karmajaha Karma Sangatah Gachatyabaya Janma Hatu Dosha Karma Kshayakshayam. When you are going to overcome all these diseases, the first type of diseases can be overcome by taking the, when we know that Nidanakara Ahara we are responsible for manifestation of diseases, you can overcome these diseases by telling the patient when to have the Patya or to stop that Nidanakara Ahara Vihara. In that condition, the disease may come down. When the disease can be seen in the Karmajaha, when we are start doing the Shubha Karmas, when the Lakshanas are seen in the form of the Samyavastha, then we can say that the Karma Lakshanas also come down. In the both the condition, when we approach both the things, then the disease lakshanas can also be subsided here. This is three Vivida Vyadhi. Next, he talks about the Vivida Vyadhi or Vivida Rogaha. What are those? Vividaha Swaparatantra Vyadeyoho Antyaha Punardvidaha Purvajaha Purvarupakyaha Jataha Paschadupadravaha. That is Swatantra Vyadhi and Paratantra Vyadhi. And Paratantra Vyadhi again divided into two folds again. Purvajaha and Upadravaha. Purvaja means those which are being manifested before the manifestation of a disease, that is what we call it as purvarupaha, and other lakshanas which are seen after the disease, that is upadrava, complications of the post disease. So these are again two types of the other classification of the vivida rogaha. Next it tells when these disease has to be overcome means when the Vyadhis are in Swatantra Vyadhis or in the form, they can be, when we treat them, then obviously Paratantra Vyadhis are going to get subsided. After treating Swatantra Vyadhis also, if Paratantra Vyadhi does not get subsidence, we have to give a specific treatment to that Paratantra Vyadhi. That has to be clearly understood by the Vaidya whenever he is treating the Swatantra Vyadhi and the Paratantra Vyadhi. The Lakshanas of Swatantra Vyadhis will be very clear because they are independent. Whereas the lakshanas of the paratantra will be not clear because they are depending on the swatantra vyadhi. Next, yes. Next, whenever the what it tells after looking at all these things, what Acharya Bhagavata he tells here is whenever a Vaidya is looking towards the symptoms of a diseases, a Vaidya should not get ashamed of himself. What he tells here in the shloka is Vikara Nama Kushaloho na Jiviyat Kadachan na hi sarva vikaranam namato asti hi dhruva asti. Not every symptom, not every disease can be named. A Vaidya should not get ashamed when he doesn't when he fails to identify the name of a disease. He should not feel ashamed when he cannot identify the name of the disease or when he is unable to give a name to that disease, whatever he can give a line of a treatment on the basis of the lakshanas. What the symptoms he is able to find, on that basis only he can give a line of a treatment. It doesn't mean that you should always give a diagnosis of a disease, then you start treating the patient. That cannot happen here. Then he tells sa eva kupito doshaha samuttana visheshatah sthanantarani cha prapya vikaranam kurute bahun tasmad vikaraha prakurtir adhishtanantarani cha buddvaha hetu vishashah sigram kuryadupakramam. So whenever any doshas which are in the aggravated form, when they are going to produce any type of a disease or any type of the lakshanas or any type of the other contributory factor to this, the treatment when you are going to have it for all these things, you have to first consider the what type of the nature of the disease, whether it is sadhya or asadhya first, whether it roga and rogi bala, both you have to consider. Next, third one, it is chirakara vyadhi or ashukari vyadhi, or whether it is nijaroga or whether it is agantusha. All these nature of a disease has to be considered, and the location where it is exactly located. Because it's difficult for a Vaidya or the person one who is going to practice in the future cannot exactly find out where the exact line of the location of that disease has originated. This is the reason we have to understand all these things. Next, it talks about the pariksha. Dusham desham balam kalam analam prakrutim vayah sattvam satmyam tataha aharam avasthasam putak vidaha sukshma sukshmaha samikshesham dosha aushadhi nirupane yo partate chikistayam na sa. We look into the doshas which are responsible for the doing the dushana. It is mala, dusha, all these things have to be kept in the mind. Then he has to look into the desha. Desha means whether he belongs to the Jangala desha, Sadharana desha or the Anupadesha. Then bala, that already I told you, whenever you want to treat a disease, roga and the rogi bala, both has to be taken into consideration. Next, Kala, that is, we have to look into the season, in which season, which type of the person is having the symptoms, which type of disease are manifested, or what type of a treatment if I give, what happens in that season has to be also be understood. Next one is Agni. Agni of a patient also has to be thoroughly understood. Next, Prakriti also has to be understood. Because Prakriti, when in Dashavida Pariksha, the first main key point is Prakriti has to be properly understood. Next, Vaya, what is the age, whether he is Yavana Avastha or Balya Avastha or the Ruddha Avastha. Because all treatment cannot hold good for all the type of a patient. Next, Sattva has to be understood, Satma has to be understood, Tata Ahara Avastaha Pratagvidaha. These all things are also told by Charakacharya in Charaka Vimanasthana 8th chapter in the name of the Charaka. Dashavida Parikshaha. Here also Acharya Vagbhata tells in all these things. Sukshmaha Samishaksham Dosham Aushadim Nirupanam Yo Vartate Chikisanam Na Sahas Kalatihi Chatujit. So whatever the considering all these things, whatever the line of treatment a physician want to give, he has to look into all these things and what is the role of a dosha in that. Then a proper Chikitsa Sutra has to be planned in that condition. And next in the shloka, what it tells, whenever in the Charaka Vimanasthana also Acharya has given, in Charakacharya also gives an explanation with related to Guru Vyadita Purusha and Lagu Vyadita Purusha. Here also in this context also what Vagbhata tells here is Guruvalpa Vyadinam Samsthanam Sattva Deha Bala Bala Dushyate Appennanta Sakaram Tasmin Navaitoho Bhavet. So any chikitsa you are planning, you have to see whether it is Guru Vyadita or the Lagu Vyadita. Whether the patient is having a very severe lakshanas, whether those lakshanas very mild in nature. Even though there are mild in nature, some patient will make a physician to understand that it is a very severe. Even some patient, what they do, even though the lakshanas are very severe, they tell that I'm not having any pain. So there are two different types of the patient when we are looking. So considering all these things, the patient has to be thoroughly examined by the Vaidya, whether he is having a Guru Vyadita, whether he is having a Lagu Vyadita person. On that basis, the line of the treatment has to be done with that. The next what it tells here is, looking into all those things, if you are going to have a line of treatment of a medicine, it has to be given or it has to be administered to a very severe disease. When you are giving a very less amount of a medicine for a severe decision of the patient, then what has to be understood is, it may not give a good result to that patient. It may not give a good result to that type of the patient. When a patient is having very what we call it as less amount of the symptom, but he is provoking as it is a very severe one. If the medicine is been planned very in high dose, it is also going to give some upadravas. So it is a duty or it is a yukti of the Vaidya how well the symptoms are established in the body, how well the patient is reacting to those symptoms, how he is establishing those symptoms, how he is showing his response towards the treatment. Everything has to be looked into those things, then he has to properly plan, or else it leads to the upadravas or it may leads to the some other side complications into those things. अतो अभियुक्ताः सततं सर्वम् आलोच्य सर्वतः तथा युञ्जितः भेषजम् आरोग्याय यथा ध्रुवम्. So hence it is a vaidya of a physician. That's the reason he is to be thoroughly studied with the theoretical aspect, practical aspect, and he should thoroughly understand the science, what he has read with the condition. Then he has to appropriately administer the medicine, where it is required, how much it is required, where, how, when, how much, all this has to be look into the things, then he has to give. At the last, what Acharya Vagbhata he tells here is, he gives the permutation and combination of the doshas. Why this permutation and combination has to be understood? Taratama bhava of the doshas is because when we are planning the treatment, these things are to be properly understood. Which dosha is in the Tara bhava, which dosha is in the Tama bhava, which dosha is in the combination of other doshas, which has to be treated, which is a more severe, which is a less severe, which is a moderately severe, which is to be first looked into treatment. All these to understand that, we should understand the dosha samyak vedaha, dosha sanyoga vedaha, pakshante atah param doshaha ruddiksheva vejitah, putak trinaha vriddhihi samsargasthidaha tatasthanavah, trineva samaya ruddhayaha shade षड्हृदय कादिशयनेतु एकम तुल्यादिके षटच्छः तारतम्यं विकल्पनात् विकल्प means permutation and the combination पंचविंशति अति मित्रत्वे वृद्धे क्षीणेश्च तावतः. So here he has given how the permutation and combination of the each dosha has to be done. So whenever there is a dosha vriddhi avastha, The three doshas are individually, that is Vata Ruddhi, Pitta Ruddhi. When Vata combines with Pitta, Pitta combines with Kapha, or Kapha combines with the Vata. So such type of the combination, when in the Samsarga Bhavaha, they again become the three. Vata Pitta, Pitta Kapha and Kapha Vata, they become three. And when they make such things, when a permutation and combination, then they make totally they become 9. If they are in a equal proportion increase, that is Vata, Pitta and Kapha together, if they increase, when we see first Vata increases, then Pitta, then Kapha, then first Pitta increases, then Vata, then Kapha, then Kapha increases, then Vata, then Kapha, then they become how many? They become the 6 in number. Altogether they become how many? They become 13. Then later, when they become the 6 with the predominance of 2 doshas, 1 with the equal dominancy of 3 doshas, and 6 by different 3 grades of the different 6 grades by the increase of the doshas. So the combination like this, if you take, they become 25, 25. That means 25 in Vruddhi Avastha, 25 in Kshaya Avastha. So 25, 25 they become 15 number. In the same, when we consider after the 50, if they become each dosha in the combination, if they are in the normal state, increased state, and the decreased state, then they become 6 in number. So when we make a such type of the permutation and combination, they totally become 62 in number. Vedaha dvishashtir nirdishtaha dvishashtihi swastya karanam. Vishashti Nirdishta means 62 combination can be seen throughout when we combine all these things. They become 63 when there is a combination with respect to the Samaha, Swastya Karanam. When they become the Swastya Karana, they become the 63 in number. Sansarga, then next tells, before to understand the disease manifestation, it is a duty of the Vaidya, or it is a moral duty of the Vaidya to understand Sansargad, Rasa, Rudiradivis, Tishyam, Tusham, Stuhu, Kshe Samatati Vruddhe Vedehe, Anantyaha, Taratama Yogastaya, Yatana, Janiyat, Hitamana Soho, Yata Swam. So all these combination, when we are going to understand with respect to the dhatus, rasas and the doshas, we all these rasa, rakta, mamsa, meda, all these when we consider with the vata, pitta, kapha, with madhura, amla, lamana, all these combination has to be understood by the Vaidya. They may be innumerable in number, but we have to properly plan. It is a yukti of the Vaidya to understand all these things, permutation and combination, and with a keen interest, with a keen knowledge, he has to attend the patient. So this ends with the Doshabhedeeya Adhyaya. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you, Dr. Saurabh Kokatnur sir. And I also would like to thank our principal, Dr. Suhas Kumar Shetty sir, for giving me this opportunity and do my best. I hope my things were conveyed to the students. My lecture will give a insightful knowledge to the students. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Dr. Savita madam.
Oh, thank you,
I
sir.
always call madam as my elder sister, and she is constantly supporting all our endeavors at the back end, in present day and in future too. So
Yes, sir.
hope all our delegates have got benefited, and it will be shortly edited and uploaded to YouTube channel, madam. You
Yes,
can
sir. Yes, sir.
use the same link to circulate to your students also.
I would like to apologize, sir, if it has become too hurry-burry,
And no
because I
issues,
thought that it will run up with the time.
no issues,
So
no
I
issues,
took the
no
time.
issues. Thank you very much,
Thank
ma'am,
you.
for
Thank you
sparing
so
us
much,
your
sir.
valuable
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, all the delegates, for keen hearing. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir. Shall I leave?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Dr.
ma'am.
Arshita. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.